He fought beside the Avengers. He trained with S.H.I.E.L.D. But Hawkeye wasn't even human. Nick Fury knew, and said nothing. Superman came from another Earth to end the threat. But he picked the wrong target. Because the real alien wasn't Hawkeye. It was the one giving orders. The news channels called it the cleanest kill in Avengers history. 1 arrow, 1 shot. 17 Skrull operatives neutralized. And Clint Barton, Hawkeye, stood atop the wreckage, arms crossed, bleeding from the side, a smirk cutting across his bruised face. But behind that smirk, something wasn't right. When medics rushed in, the first thing they noticed was his blood. Or, rather, the lack of it. What dripped from his wound shimmered green for a moment before fading back to red. The scanner couldn't find a pulse. No heartbeat. No vitals. Just a message flashing on screen in red. Unrecognized DNA pattern. At SHIELD HQ, Maria Hill slammed the medical report on Nick Fury's desk. This isn't normal, Nick. His cells are mutating, adapting. You want to explain this? Fury didn't flinch. He simply opened the drawer, pulled out a black folder labeled Classified, Project Hawkeye K, and slid it across the table. 20 years ago, he said coldly, Clint was dying. Radiation exposure from a failed mission. We used experimental tech to save him. Skrull biohealing. Just enough to regenerate tissue. Just enough to bring him back. Maria froze. You infected him with alien DNA? I saved him, Fury snapped. Don't confuse survival with betrayal. But deep in his voice, there was something else. Fear. Meanwhile, the sky cracked. A beam of light, not from this Earth, split through the clouds. Civilians screamed. Satellites dropped offline. And, in the center of the blast, he descended. Superman. But this wasn't the smiling hero of Metropolis. This was Earth 823, Kal-El, weathered, worn, eyes blazing with cosmic heat. He knelt in the middle of Times Square and whispered just 3 words to the void. Target is here. His eyes locked onto the SHIELD satellite feed. The signature matched. DNA confirmed. The Skrull sleeper agent was active. And its name was Clint Barton. Elsewhere, Hawkeye was already starting to question his own body. He stared into a mirror, pulling back his skin with trembling fingers. Every scar he remembered from childhood, gone. He ran a blade across his arm. The skin healed in seconds. What the hell is happening to me? He whispered. Then he heard the thunder. Not from Thor. Not from a storm. But from something breaking the sound barrier 10 times over. Boom. Superman arrived like judgment itself, crashing through the safehouse roof. The concrete exploded. Clint rolled out just in time, grabbing his bow and launching an arrow directly at the stranger's chest. It shattered against his suit. You don't belong here, Clint growled. Neither do you, Superman replied, voice cold as steel. With one punch, he sent Hawkeye through 3 walls. But just before Superman could strike again, red energy lit up the air. Captain Marvel slammed into his side like a meteor. Black Widow dropped from a Quinjet and dragged Clint to cover. You don't get to kill him, Carol shouted. He's one of us. Superman hovered, eyes glowing red. He's not. He never was. And if you don't move, neither are you. Back at Avengers Tower, chaos erupted. Tony scanned the data. Strange energy signatures in Clint's bloodstream. Fragments of shapeshifter code. There's no denying it, he muttered. He's got Skrull markers in his DNA. Bruce frowned. But that doesn't make him a threat. It makes him what? A cyborg? A hybrid? He's still himself. Tony shook his head. Maybe. Or maybe he's just waiting for someone to flip the switch. Superman was done waiting. I watched my Earth burn, he growled. A Skrull, just like him, infiltrated our Justice League. Disguised himself for years. We trusted him. And when the signal came, he butchered everyone. I barely survived. Carol stepped forward. This isn't your Earth. No, Superman replied. But it's about to suffer the same fate. Suddenly, all communication channels in SHIELD HQ shut down. A virus began wiping data. Files were being erased. Maria Hill managed to extract one last document, a sealed log entry from years ago. Project Hawkeye K. Success. Hybrid subject regenerating faster than expected. Emotional control still intact. Awaiting activation code from Fury. She blinked. Awaiting code from Fury? Clint, now hidden in an alley, pulled out an old flip phone. Something SHILD never tracked. He dialed a number Fury told him to use only once in his life. It rang, then connected. Clint, Fury said. I need the truth, Hawkeye whispered. Am I even me anymore? Fury paused. Too long. You were. Once. But now, I don't know. Click. Call ended. In the shadows above, Superman floated silently, watching, hand clenched. That was your last chance. The sky over Manhattan turned orange, not from sunset, but from heat vision. Superman hovered midair, fists clenched, scanning the city like a predator tracking prey. Below him, Hawkeye bled green from his ribs, hidden behind a fire escape, heart pounding. He's going to kill me, Clint muttered. And I don't even know why. Then the rooftops shook. Carol Danvers slammed into Superman at Mach speed, sending him hurtling into a nearby skyscraper. The glass exploded in all directions like shrapnel. The war had started. Inside the crumbling building, Superman rose from the dust, barely fazed. I came here to stop a Skrull invasion, he said coldly. Not fight another team of hypocrites. Carol hovered in front of him, eyes burning. Then you picked the wrong guy to kill. Hawkeye's one of us. He's not even human. From above, Iron Man streaked down in upgraded black and gold armor, arc reactor pulsing. Stand down, Krypton. You're about 2 solar systems out of jurisdiction. Superman didn't blink. Then, do your job, Stark. Stop the Skrull sleeper before he destroys your world like he did mine. Down below, Clint ran, bruised, broken, questioning everything. His memories felt like strangers now. Had he always healed this fast? Had his reflexes always been this sharp? He reached a back alley safe house and activated a hidden retinal scanner. The steel door opened with a hiss. Inside, weapons. Old scrolls. A black arrowhead with alien script carved into its edge. What are you? Clint whispered to himself. But before he could even breathe, the wall behind him burst open. Superman stood there, face expressionless. You're done running. Clint fired 3 arrows in 1 second. Superman caught all of them. Mid-air. The 4th exploded in his face, giving Clint just enough time to bolt through the roof hatch. As he leapt across the rooftops, a voice echoed in his earpiece. Clint, it's Nat. Where are you? Being hunted, he panted. By Superman. Stay alive. Help's coming. Help came in the form of Thor's hammer. Mjolnir slammed into Superman's back, sending him crashing into a parked truck that vaporized instantly. Thor landed beside Clint. This one troubles you? Yeah, Clint coughed. Just a little. Let's return the favor. Back at Avengers Tower, chaos. Bruce paced furiously. We can't just keep fighting Superman. He's not the enemy. Tony pulled up the DNA scans again. The Skrull markers in Clint's blood are real, but they're dormant, inactive. Could be from Fury's biotech patch job. Bruce stopped. Or could be hacked. What if someone's trying to activate him now? The AI flickered. Incoming breach detected. Location: SHILD mainframe vault. Nat's eyes widened. That's where Fury stored the activation codes. Cut to Maria Hill, sprinting through SHILD corridors as alarms blared. Behind her, gunfire. Skrull infiltrators disguised as agents were already inside. She reached the vault. Locked. The override panel was melting from internal heat. Too late. A Skrull commander stepped forward, smirking. You Earthlings always put your faith in the wrong people. Boom. A shadowy figure burst through the ceiling. Black Panther. He didn't say a word. He didn't have to. He tore through the Skrulls with precision, no mercy. Clawed one across the throat. Disarmed another. Slammed one into the vault and accessed the panel manually. Hill, he growled. Get me the real Fury. Cut back to the battlefield. Clint and Thor versus Superman. It wasn't going well. Superman's speed was impossible. His strength was myth. He caught Mjolnir mid-swing and threw it across the skyline like a skipping stone. Thor looked stunned. No one's ever. Clint fired a grappling arrow and swung behind Superman, planting a shock arrow on his back. The blast bought a few seconds. "You don't get it, do you?" Clint yelled. "I don't even know what I am anymore, but I know I've never betrayed this team." Superman turned slowly. "That's what the Skrull on my world said right before he burned down Metropolis." Flashback, Earth, 823. We see Superman holding the broken body of Lois Lane. The skyline in flames. A figure standing behind him, eyes glowing green, face morphing between Hawkeye, Batman, and finally a Skrull. "I trusted you," Superman whispered in that memory. Cut back to now. His fist tightens. "I won't make that mistake again." But just before he strikes, his AI flashes red. New match found. Skrull DNA, not Barton. Location, SHIELD, Command Core. Superman freezes. Wait, he's not the one. At that moment, a voice echoes across all Avengers comms. "This is Black Panther. The real Fury has been found unconscious, impersonated for 3 years. The imposter is transmitting Earth's coordinates to the Skrull fleet." Everyone goes still. Clint, bloody and exhausted, collapses to his knees. "I told you." Superman looks shaken. "Then who have I been taking orders from?" Suddenly, the skies open. Skrull warships arrive. Cloaked no more. Earth is under siege. Nick Fury, now awake but restrained in a Skrull pod, whispers to a hidden mic. "You better stop them, Clint. You're the only one who can." The sky wasn't falling. It was opening. Above Earth, 7 Skrull motherships decloaked in formation. Not a warning. Not a threat. A signal. We're already here. And deep beneath Washington, D.C., inside the remains of a forgotten SHIELD vault, Nick Fury opened his eyes and remembered everything. His wrists were bound to a curved alien console. His uniform torn. Beard longer. Eyes bloodshot. 3 years, he whispered. "They wore my face for 3 years." The Skrull, disguised as him, was already in the wind. And the code was already sent. Meanwhile, Clint Barton stood in the ruins of what used to be a rooftop, bloodied, gasping, surrounded by heroes and doubt. Superman hovered above him, uncertain now. No longer an executioner, but not yet an ally. "You were never the threat," Kal-El admitted. "But someone made sure you looked like one." "Welcome to my life," Clint muttered. "Then who gave the activation order?" Carol asked, stepping forward. Superman's head turned. His AI flickered red again. One name glowing. Nick Fury, signal origin. Cut to Avengers Tower. Inside the war room, panic. Stark's AI flooded with encrypted packets, a backdoor no one saw coming. "We've been compromised for years," Bruce shouted. "The Skrulls didn't invade. They were invited." "By who?" Tony growled. "The fake Fury? The real one? Or someone worse?" Suddenly, the screen cracked with static. Then a face. Not Fury. Not Skrull. Something older. Eyes burning green. Cloak of stardust. "We are not here to conquer," the voice said. "We are here to awaken what you buried." Back in Wakanda, Maria Hill and Black Panther dragged the real Fury out of the escape pod. He looked half dead. But when he opened his mouth, he spoke like a man on fire. "Clint is the key," Fury gasped. "He's not the weapon. He's the lock. The Skrulls couldn't invade unless he was activated. It's built into him. He's Earth's beacon." "You put that in him?" Chalice snapped. Fury looked away. He was dying. "I didn't know they'd twist it." Cut to outer space. Superman broke orbit in 3.2 seconds. His eyes scanned the lead Skrull mothership. Inside, millions of stored identities. A blueprint of Earth's defenses. Stark Tech X gene data. Kryptonian radiation samples. And one file marked Project Arrowgate. He blinked. They didn't clone Hawkeye, he realized. They copied him from someone else. Back on Earth, Clint stood alone in the ruins of an old SHIELD bunker. He tore open a steel locker labeled B-14, Deceased Assets. Inside, bones, tattered clothes, a bow, a burned badge. Clinton Barton died in action. His hands trembled. I'm not even the original. I'm just the copy. No, a voice said behind him. It was Natasha. You're better. Flashback. Years ago, during the Battle of Lagos, the real Clint was fatally wounded. Fury used Skrull regeneration tissue to save him, but it failed. So they did the unthinkable. Cloned him. Layered his memories from backups. Planted them in a hybrid shell. The current Hawkeye? A perfect echo of the man who died in silence. Now, that echo was the reason Earth was under attack. The beacon implanted in him was active. The Skrulls weren't invading by force. They were coming to extract. Because inside Clint's cells was a map of every major hero's DNA. Woven in, synced, copied. Over years of team missions, battle blood, training scrapes. They turned Clint into a walking genetic vault. And he never knew. Superman returned to Earth like a falling comet. He didn't speak. He just looked at Clint, then at the stars. They're not just after Earth, he finally said. They're after what you carry. Every power, every secret. You are the prize. Tony clenched his fist. Then we build a cage. No, Clint said, stepping forward. We build a plan. Cut 2. The Avengers, divided but united by necessity, formed a temporary strategy. Thor would hold the upper orbit against the first wave. Carol would lead planetary defense via SWRD. Chala and Shuri would attempt to sever the biosignal in Clint's DNA. Superman would confront the source, the central Skrull hive ship, alone. And Clint Barton would volunteer to let them use him as bait. If I'm a lock, he said, then let them come to me. Hours later, in the African desert, Clint knelt alone in a crater surrounded by heat sensors and stealth mines. His heartbeat was steady. He whispered into the mic. I used to think I was the guy with no powers, the weak link. Turns out I'm the centerpiece of a war I didn't even start. In the distance, shadows moved. Cloaked Skrull assassins approached. One of them stepped forward unmasked. It was another Clint Barton. You're not the original, the doppelganger said. You're not even the first clone. Clint raised his bow slowly. I'm the one with the kill shot. Boom. Clint's arrow pierced the duplicate's shoulder. Green blood splattered. The Skrull Hawkeye hissed, body glitching between forms. Tony. Capped Natasha. Then, Clint again. You think you're original? The shapeshifter growled. You're just better programmed. Clint kept the bow drawn. No. I'm the one with free will. He fired again. Direct hit. The fake collapsed, disintegrating into ash. But it wasn't over. Suddenly, thousands of dots lit up in the sky, descending like a swarm. The real invasion had begun. At the same moment, above Earth's orbit, Superman tore through the lead Skrull mothership, shattering its defense field with one punch. Inside, nothing but silence and green glow. Until he saw it. Rows upon rows of cryotubes, each one holding a copy of Hawkeye. Some fully formed, others half-grown, some fused with alien tech. Superman's eyes widened. They weren't trying to replace Earth's Hawkeye. They were trying to perfect him. Each version carried slightly altered DNA, stronger, faster, invisible, even vibranium enhanced. But none of them moved. They were sleeping weapons waiting. Who's activating them? He muttered. Behind him, a door hissed open, and Nick Fury stepped out. Except this one was tall. Too tall. Skin flickering. Voice distorted. It took you long enough, the false Fury said. We've already uploaded your genetic profile too, Kryptonian. Welcome to the fold. Superman's eyes ignited red. You're not Fury. Neither is the one you just rescued. Cut to Wakanda. Maria Hill's blood froze as she watched the real Fury slump to the floor. Shuri scanned him. His DNA is correct, she said. But then it changed. On screen, his face flickered. Not human. Not Skrull. Something else. This isn't a clone, Shuri whispered. This is a new species. The fake Fury opened his eyes, smiled calmly. I am the evolution of infiltration. He snapped the cuffs. Energy exploded outward. Shuri flew back. Hill hit the wall. The intruder rose calmly, pressed a hidden switch on his wrist, and every communication line on Earth went black. Back in the desert, Clint watched the sky darken with warships. Thor arrived beside him in a bolt of lightning, armor dented, blood running down his brow. They've breached the satellites. Earth is blind. How bad is it? Clint asked. Thor looked up. Bad enough they sent me to warn you. Cut to Avengers Tower. Tony stood in front of the holographic Earth. Every hero's signal offline. Every defense satellite silent. But one beacon was still pulsing. Clint Barton's implant. Bruce stepped forward. The invasion isn't to conquer. It's to collect. They want him. Tony gritted his teeth. Then we give them hell first. Back in orbit, Superman and the fake Fury clashed violently. Superman punched through walls. Fury countered with face-shifting tech stolen from Pym Labs. Their battle tore the ship apart until Superman pinned him down. Who are you? He roared. The being laughed. You call us Skrulls, but we are beyond that. We are the Seed, the architects of your fears, your legends. He pointed at the cryotubes. This army? Just a test run. The final weapon is already on Earth, and he thinks his name is Clint Barton. Superman froze. Down below, Clint collapsed to one knee. His vision blurred. His hands glowed faintly green. His bow was gone, disintegrated. Something's happening to me, he whispered. Thor grabbed his shoulder. Stay with me, Archer. But Clint's veins lit up. His skin began to pulse. Energy crackled through his spine. The beacon inside him had reached its final phase. He looked up at Thor, pain in his eyes. I'm not just the map, Thor. I'm the keyhole. And they're about to turn the lock. The sky cracked open. Not from thunder. Not from ships. But from Clint Barton. He screamed as light erupted from his chest. Not blue. Not red. Green. Skrull green. But mixed with something else, something cosmic. Thor stumbled back, shielding his face from the surge. He's not transforming. He's activating. Above them, motherships began shifting position, orbiting directly over Clint's coordinates. Each beam of light from their underbellies pointed downward, toward him. He was the signal, the center of their map, their decoder, their key. And the lock was Earth. Inside the mothership, Superman hovered, breathing hard, armor scorched from his battle with the alien Seed, pretending to be Fury. The cryotubes pulsed behind him. He had seconds. The fake Fury's final words echoed in his mind. The beacon will unlock your worst fears, and Earth will fall to itself. Superman blasted out of the ship, straight into the atmosphere, fire trailing behind him. He had one last chance. On the ground, Clint dropped to his knees, eyes glowing white, body vibrating. He felt everything, every hero's power, every enemy's trace. His veins were broadcasting it all. He turned to Thor, voice cracking. Tell him that I'm sorry. Thor stepped forward. There must be another way. No, I'm the only way. He held out one last arrow, pure vibranium, laced with antimatter, forged by Shuri, meant to disrupt his own DNA. Shoot me with it now. But before Thor could act, Superman crashed down like a comet, landing between them, cape torn, fists clenched. Don't. Thor raised an eyebrow. You came to kill him 3 days ago. I came to kill a weapon. But I see now, he's more human than any of us. Superman turned to Clint. Let me do it. I'll carry you out. Fly you to the sun, if I have to. Clint shook his head. You'll survive that. I won't. That's the point. In the sky, the Skrull ships began to hum. The signal was at full strength. Clint raised the arrow, handed it to Superman. If you want to save this Earth, you're going to have to trust the one guy you tried to kill. Superman took the arrow, looked him dead in the eyes, nodded, and with one impossible move, flew into Clint's heart. The impact detonated the arrow's core, releasing a burst of anti-beacon energy. The motherships instantly powered down, lights flickering out. Above the Earth, hundreds of cloaked Skrull pods self-destructed, severed from the source. The lock had closed. The signal was gone. When the dust settled, Clint lay motionless. His body, half human, half Skrull, was quiet. Superman knelt beside him. He chose Earth, even when Earth never chose him. Later, at Avengers Memorial Grounds, a statue was unveiled. Clint Barton, Defender of Worlds. Underneath, a plaque read, "Born human, modified by war, chose to be a hero." Nick Fury stood in the back, silent. Natasha watched the skies. Superman placed a small arrow at the base of the statue, forged from stardust. "Not every hero wears a cape," he whispered. "Some just never miss." End.